All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode. And we are going to our third movie review, like I mentioned in the past two episodes. So, of course, like as promised, we're going to be talking about Spider Man. Across the Spider Verse. So this is the second establishment of the Sony animated studios. So I think a lot of people, there's a lot I've seen. We're gonna talk about that fan base, but I have seen some people where they were like, "No, I'm not watching an animated movie. Animated movies are for kids." Well, when it comes to Spider Man, it's a whole different fan base, but we'll talk about it. And the thing is that this movie itself has been blowing up on my TikTok. Like that's all I've seen. I'm like, forget about Pedro Pascal memes. Forget about, I've been seeing a lot of Ghost memes, like the band Ghost, because that's, one of the bands that I listen to. But forget about all of those memes. All I've been seeing is just everything Spider-Man. And I'm just like, I guess. So, before we get into the episode, don't forget to follow my social media, guys, at It's Lielers on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm pretty sure by now y'all can look it up, or if not, just visit my link tree. It's like literally everywhere on this podcast. And then if you guys, of course, like how I mentioned about my TikTok, if you guys want to follow my TikTok or go like my videos that I posted, follow me at Lielers on TikTok. But anywho, back to what I was saying. So I feel like I'm slowly getting decongested from this sinus infection that I probably might have. But I believe the cause of my sickness was resting almost all day on Saturday. And there's a reason why. I stayed in bed, and this is not this past Saturday, like literally last week. So it's, again, it's been a week already. But last Saturday, I literally stayed in bed until 3 p.m. and I feel like I haven't done that in such a long time. But there is a reason why. And me, when I'm in bed, I tend to just go through TikTok and try to see if I can go back to sleep and whatnot. But I think I went into like a trance of just going and through so many videos on TikTok, and I literally found somebody like on my For You page that was streaming the damn movie. Like literally, I'm over there like halfway through the movie. How do I know it was halfway? Because I didn't know how the movie started. I don't know what the whole deal was going on. I just know the movie was already like in the middle of something going on, and I'm just like, well, I could either continue to like swiping up, or I can just continue laying here, and I had Cosmo with me, like already asleep on my arm, so that's why I don't usually get up from bed. I did get up to feed her, but we ended up knocking out and going back to sleep. But anywho, whenever I saw that, I did, like, before I bump into that person streaming the video or the movie, sorry, I did see a bunch of other videos, like memes and all of that, of the movie itself, and I was just kept skipping through them. And that's the thing about living and breathing and minoring in social media. Well, I didn't minor in social media, but still, I feel like I did. The thing about social media is that when something is trending, you're literally bound to find it anywhere. And, Instagram is, it can be filtered by the people that you follow. Twitter, the same thing. You can just avoid what's trending and just go through your page of who you follow and whatnot. And so TikTok is a little bit inedible. I don't know how to pronounce the damn word. Only Thanos knows how to do it. But that part is a little bit tricky because once you start either liking or interacting at a certain kind of video, for some reason your what you call it, they call it the demographic or whatever it is, they just automatically just give you nothing but that. So I said this in my other episode on the random thoughts of Lielers of what's been on my For You page. And like how I mentioned, it has been consistent Pedro Pascal memes. Before that, it was like something else. I don't know what. I think even at one point it was Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, and now he's coming back too, for reasons, obvious reasons. He's coming back on my For You page, and everybody's obsessing over him. Now we get a real daddy that everybody's like fangirling about. But anywho, but yeah, so I only got to see second half of that movie because of the fucking TikTok, and now it left me like once I finished it. Obviously, for those that have seen it, are probably like, oh yeah, you're probably gonna want to watch it again, and yeah, I did because it was that good that I'm just like, I want to know how it started, so that way I can relive that other half part and fully understand it even more. Because yeah, I before I even and even be again, I said I saw some videos before like the movie itself can ended up laying on my For You page. I saw a video of somebody, like I think the movie was like being released in Mexico or somewhere over there, and like I just remember seeing like, oh, like as soon as the movie is over, and then this guy is just like cursing in Spanish, like puta madre, en serio way, like, hey, and I'm just like, why is he like, I was so confused of why he had that kind of emotion until I saw the movie itself, and then I started saying all the same words he started saying, and I was just like, I understand now. I understand the pain. But besides that, I also don't know if you guys ever even had a chance to try it. I don't think they're selling this anymore, but Burger King had a promotional burger, which was the Spider-Verse Whopper. I got it. I had a chance to try it, thank God. But I think a lot of people were skeptical because I think they like Burger King has released like for Halloween the Whopper with the black bun, but apparently the bun itself is spicy, so people assumed that because the bun for the Spider-Verse Whopper was red, people would have thought, oh, maybe it's spicy just like the other one, so maybe we might not try it. It wasn't. It was just basically, I think the blend or what gave it its color, it was made out of beet juice. I didn't taste the beet juice on whenever I got to try it, but the difference was that you also had a Swiss cheese instead of American cheese like the traditional Whopper. The only sad bummer part about it is that you can only get a single patty. My fat ass likes to eat more. I like the double or the triple, but it is what it is. But yeah, they had the promotion, and they even released like a couple of deals for their BK crown deals, whatever. And me, luckily, I just had to try it for myself. At the time, I think I was craving it on a Monday, and at that time it was only like $5. So I was like, I guess I'll just get the Whopper, so might as well try it. And that was another thing. I kept getting a bunch of memes on my freaking For You page on TikTok where people would eat the Whopper and all of a sudden they turn into Spider-Man, and I'm just like, I can't with y'all. So it's like, it's been all over my For You page. That's all I've seen. Like, it's starting to cool off a little bit more now, but like these past 2-3 weeks, I want to say 2 weeks for sure, 2 weeks straight, that's all I've seen. Just Spooderman. But anywho, besides that, I really did love seeing those videos. It's very, very entertaining because, again, that fan base is so much different than, any other franchises. And that's the thing. I feel like, Nintendo has Super Mario, of course, and I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to review that movie. But that movie's already out, so I need to go buy it. And excuse, again, Cosmo, my weird Frenchie in the background. But anywho, Spider-Man has this big fan base. Like, I think almost everybody that I known has grown up or has been, a big, huge fan of Spider-Man. And I'm not just talking about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. We're talking even way back. Like, I think whenever it was just an animated series at that point, or people collected comic books. Like, it's so big, and Sony really relies on Spider-Man itself. So for that, like, whenever they decided to bring in Miles Morales, obviously from some people are saying that the inspiration of Miles Morales came from the actor Danny Glover, or the singer, how y'all call him, Childish Gambino. But it's like people are saying that inspired the character of Miles Morales. So it's great that Sony did this animated version, because it's gonna cost them even more money just to get real life actors. And when I first went to go watch the first movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I was not like, obviously I wasn't as hype. I just went because my cousins wanted to go watch it, and I was surprised they even want to watch it, because I didn't know they like Marvel that much. So we went to go watch it, and then I liked it. I was very, very hooked on it. And then when I found out that the second movie was coming out, obviously this, and it was going to be split into two parts, it was more like, oh, well, that's going to be iffy, because we're going to have to wait another year for the other one to come out. But anywho, I will talk about that one later on. And it's going to be in the spoiler-free version, which we're going to get into that right now. So as always, whenever I do my movie reviews, I always do the spoiler-free version for those that have not watched the movie. And then I do the spoiler version for those that have watched the movie or are not planning to watch the movie and just want to continue on and listening to see what the hype is all about. And again, I'm gonna remind you one more time. The fan base is way bigger than what you think. If you don't believe me, go on TikTok. But anywho, on the spoiler-free version, I got the Rotten Tomato score and the audience score, and for some reason, I don't know, this is the first time I've seen this where the scores are the same numbers. They're both at 96%. I'm like, what? If anything, I'm like, again, the fan base is so bigger. I'm surprised they haven't even put it at 100%. But still, that's them. So I mean, I can understand why, and you'll see why. So let me go ahead and talk about it. For sure, I do want to say, because this is the sequel. You will have to definitely watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse to understand this movie. You do also have to pay attention to these little small details in the first movie to unravel some of the mysteries that you will see in this movie itself. Because they do show that, like, in this movie, like in the second sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, they do show some of the things that happen in the first movie. But you have to watch the first one. It's like it's a must, because then when you watch this one, you're like, oh, hey, I saw that in the first movie, I saw it, and I'm just like, I'm surprised, because I haven't rewatched Into the Spider-Verse literally since I think maybe, since it came out in movie theaters. Like, I usually rewatch my movies, but this one, because right now it's not streaming anywhere, I haven't had a chance to rewatch it. So whenever I got to watch this movie, I was like, okay, well, I remember some of it now, especially like an iconic scene that I don't want to say, because again, in the spoiler version. But still, I think it was pretty good. So that's why I'm like, if I watched the first one, you guys definitely should watch it. But good luck again trying to find it streaming somewhere. If not, you're gonna have to like rent it somewhere and then try to watch it. But it's not that bad. But anywho, like I mentioned just earlier, it is split into two parts. The third movie, which is gonna be called Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, it's scheduled to release on March 29th of next year, 2024. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed, because Haley Steinfeld, if that's how I pronounce her name, she has said she hasn't recorded any of the lines of the third movie. So I'm kind of worried. And not even up to that, there is like this movie was animated, but the animation literally took, for this movie itself, it took like 2 to 3 years for it to complete. It's been a while, because I think Into the Spider-Verse came out in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And, with this one is because of one character. But before I get ahead of myself, yeah, like if the animation took 2 to 3 years for them to complete it, imagine like for it to be like this long. Unless if, while they were doing the animation for that one, they were already working on Beyond the Spider-Verse. Who knows? But all I'm saying is if it gets pushed, do not be surprised. And even I think I even saw a meme already where somebody was like using the Miguel O'Hara theme song that he has, and people are like, oh, like, thinking, oh, March 29th, it's approaching us, and then on the other noise, it's like, oh, but it's getting delayed, this and that. Don't be surprised. But anywho, as I was saying, one particular animation did take 2 to 3 years for it to complete, and it was just solely on the character Spider-Punk. And, again, I'm only saying these because they have been confirmed in the trailer, so don't, throw hands at me because it's like, well, I didn't know Spider-Punk was going to be there. It's in the freaking trailer, so sorry. Anywho, but if you have seen the trailer, or if you've seen clips, Spider-Punk's character is the only character that is always like changing colors. Like everything could be in one particular color. Him, no, he can go black and white to regular colors to God knows what else. Like and if it's not just him, it's also his guitar. Like his guitar will be in the back in one color and then changing into a color the next round. So it's like it was a lot, and I can understand why it takes so long to animate that. But I'm like, if Spider-Punk is gonna be in the next movie, again, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come out until 2025. But at the same time, after watching the movie, and trust me, if you have not watched the movie, you're gonna be praying and hoping. Like if you're a big Spider-Man fan, just saying, you're gonna be praying and hoping this movie comes out as they said it was supposed to come out, because I want to know what happens. Everybody else wants to know what happens, because I'm not saying that it's that good, but it's just like curiosity. Our curiosity is like, what else is there to go? So anywho, now I want to go back to talking about Oscar Isaac. And I mentioned this, I haven't seen him come back to my For You page since Moon Knight. And everybody was drooling over him as Moon Knight, especially when he's speaking in Spanish. So, we're getting him back, obviously, and he is playing Miguel O'Hara, also known as Spider-Man 2099. Like, can that get any more, like, wow, like that sounded very powerful, just saying that. And again, there is like now everybody is obsessed with an animated character, and I'm like, I cannot. Like homeboy has this back. His back is so built and buff, and don't even get me started on his butt. Oh my god. Again, I don't understand the internet. I never will. But the more that I keep seeing this, it's just more twisting my mind to just follow through them too. Like even like, and I'm just saying this because before the pandemic, the Mandalorian came out, and I never saw Mando as daddy, nor Pedro Pascal. I have never seen them as daddy until I got into TikTok, and then it twisted my mind. So I guess you could say I'm kind of easily manipulated by the internet, but only if it does make sense. This one doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think I will fall or drool over an animated character. If anything, I will be drooling the person behind the animated character, which is Oscar Isaac. Again, and when I say he is a true daddy, homeboy is literally a father. So happy Father's Day to Oscar Isaac, because this episode is coming out way before Father's Day. So there's that. But yeah, and then that's the thing. Like even Pedro Pascal, he said it himself. He's like, he doesn't understand why people are like drooling over him when he's not. They're calling him the internet daddy when he's not really a daddy. And he was like, throw everybody to Oscar Isaac. He's the true daddy. So, anywho, my personal opinion about Miguel O'Hara. When I saw him, And like it was so funny because I saw like him without the Spider-Man mask. When I got to see his face, I'm like, I like at first I was like, he looks familiar, but I cannot put my finger on it. Like, and I was just like trying to figure out, and I'm like, what does this man look like? Until I found another video of on my For You page of somebody comparing the character Miguel O'Hara in the Spider-Man movie to the Mexican actor Eduardo Yanez. If you guys do not know who that is, just simply look up a Mexican actor slapping a reporter on the red carpet, and you will see Eduardo Yanez. And yeah, homeboy literally slapped a reporter because they asked him a personal question about a GoFundMe page that his son did, and he got offended, and then he just smacked the reporter. So I'm assuming that inspired the creation or the facial expression of Miguel O'Hara. So I'm not surprised. Y'all do the compare and contrast and let me know if that is true. I will put that as a poll question for my Spotify listeners. I don't know if Apple podcast has that or anywhere else. If you're listening this on YouTube, commented on it if that is. If not, find me on social media. Again, it's Lielers on Instagram and on Twitter. Let me know if I'm not wrong or if I'm right, whichever one. But anywho, let's go ahead and go look up. And even then, I'm like, if you guys are obsessed with you know what you call it, with a Miguel O'Hara animated, how come you guys are not obsessing over Eduardo Ñañez? I mean, back then, yeah, I guess when he was at his prime, because he's older now. But when he was at his prime, you know, making all those telenovelas, I guess, you know, me, I had my fair shares with telenovelas, and I'm just like, I guess, you know, I still have a few men in there that I was like, they're still cute, or, you know, they're still, smoking hot. Anywho, let's go ahead and keep going on. Another thing I wanted to mention that's also featured in this movie. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a show called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it already wrapped up. Unfortunately, they finally finished wrapping up that series. But I am happy to hear that Andy Samberg came into this movie and he played Ben Reilly, also known as the Scarlet Spider. And again, this was in the freaking trailer, so don't come at me. And the thing is that it's so hilarious because when you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there were scenes where Jake Peralta, you know, played by Andy Samberg, he uses his deep voice to impersonate certain people, or just, you know, he's doing he's acting up a scene, whatever it is. I hear that same voice with Ben Reilly, and I'm just like, I cannot. I'm like, I don't hear Andy Samberg. I hear Jake Peralta and Ben Reilly, and I love it. I love it. I was geeking out whenever that happened, but it is so it's funny. So and besides that, we do get into more voice actors that we have seen in like it's a blend of either Marvel. I want to say like in Marvel and other Notorious movies. Like for example, we had the actor Daniel Kaluuya. He was in the movie Nope, of course. That was from Jordan Peele. But then also we saw him in the first Black Panther with the late Chadwick Boseman. Let's rest in peace. And then also we did get to have we had Daniel play Spider-Punk, or you know, also known as Hobby Brown. So and I freaking loved it. I love his voice acting. Like I've seen this guy like play like, you know, his other characters, and this is the first time I hear him in a different voice, or like it's still his voice, but it's like in a the way how it is so different, and I love it. You get a hint of sass in there if you tell me about it, if you ask me. Another person that is in this movie, I'm also a fan of, is Karan Soni, who is from Deadpool. He is a taxi driver, if you guys knew him. He plays Spider-Man India, or Pavtri. I don't know how to pronounce the freaking last name. He says it so good. I think it's Prabhakar. And I freaking love like the little jokes that he makes in the movies itself. It's so good. I love his voice. Like just hearing his voice either in Deadpool or in this movie. It's just like, it's funny and it's so good for this character too. I cannot wait to hear more of him in other animated movies. It's good. And then another voice actor who blends even perfectly for this one is Jason Schwartzman, and he plays Spot in this movie. And the only reason why I knew Jason Schwartzman is through the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He plays Gideon, if I'm not mistaken. So I was like, when I hear him, I'm like, I love this. I love the voice. I love how Spot sounds with this guy. It's perfect. And then of course, like you might be wondering too throughout this movie, like, are there any end credits? And I am telling you right now, there are no end credits for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. There were end credits for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which apparently leads to the events for this one. And people are mistaking it for end credit scenes for this movie, but it's not. I didn't stay for the end credits for the movie theaters, but I know I got confirmation from my sources. One of them has to be IGN. There were confirmed no end credits on this one. So if you think that there are, trust me, no, you're just wasting your time. Go ahead and get off the movie theaters and stretch your legs. Because, I mean, the movie wasn't that long, thank God. It wasn't that long, but still. Sitting down with so many emotions, you need to stretch your legs. So there's that. And then after that, I think the only problem with this movie overall, and I want to say I am agreeing with both the Rotten Tomatoes score and the audience score. The only problem I did have, and they did say, like I think I've seen it on IGN somewhere, where or in other places, when you if the movie theater doesn't set the movie at a certain volume, you're gonna have trouble hearing the movie, and that's what I had in the beginning and the ending part of this movie. I couldn't understand what Gwen was saying, and the worst part of them all, I do have hard hearing. I like, if I could have subtitles, great, that'd be perfect. You know, this is what happens when you mess up your eardrums when you're a teenager blasting to a bunch of rock and heavy metal music. So yeah, I have hard hearing, but it was even harder for me to hear what she's saying. Like, I can hear her slightly, but then, you know, like and when I mean by her, I mean Gwen. Yeah, Gwen Stacy, when she's talking. And it's just her particularly. So whenever I hear her, I'm just like, huh? But you hear her great throughout the movie. It's just in the beginning and the end of the movie. You just cannot understand them. And yeah, supposedly they said that, you know, whenever the movie theaters are playing the movie, you have to set it at a volume 7 or higher, I think. And I was just like, there's a volume setting into this? I usually watch my movies in Studio Movie Grill. For those that do not know what that is basically a movie theater that has really loud speakers where you can literally feel the vibration and whatnot. And you can like sit there and eat, kind of movie theater. But I go there for I guess, yeah, for the sound of the way how it sounds. Like whenever I went to go watch any Godzilla movies, beautiful. So the Studio Movie Grill is my go-to place. But here it was more like, okay, I need kind of like the noise to lower down so I can understand what Gwen Stacy is saying. So that was my only thing I didn't like. But other than that, I loved the movie. I enjoyed it, like I said. I cannot wait to see the next movie come out, which I am praying and hoping it comes out in a few months. Because a year and a half is going to be way too much, and I'm going to go cry in a corner just, you know, figuring, like, coping with everything else. It's kind of like it's not like Infinity War, kind of, but it's not. It's so much different. It's just like, wow, basically. But anywho. that wraps up the spoiler free version. I am going to go ahead and talk about the spoiler version. Now, if you do not want to hear the spoilers, you are more than welcome to stop this audio. Come back after you watch it so you can hear of what I got to say about this movie and why it was so entertaining. For those that are that have already watched the movie and basically want to sit along and gossip about it, feel free to listen. Or if you're not interested in watching the movie because it's animated, again, spoiler countdown goes in 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's talk about the cliffhanger. Yes, like I think that was for me. I did not want the movie to end with a cliffhanger. I hate it when movies end with a cliffhanger, just like Infinity War. That's what I mean. So it's like I think I understand why the damn guy in the TikTok video that I mentioned, he was freaking out. And it's like, I think for those that were freaking out, it's just like, one, like, what the fuck, man? What is gonna happen with Miles? What is gonna happen with, like, you're waiting for Gwen and her team to come and rescue Miles. Like, you're already waiting for that. But you have to wait until March to see all of that. So it's like, man, like, just when it was getting really good, literally, it got so good that it says to be continued. And I'm like, ain't no way. But, I feel like I think when it started rising up to the cliffhanger was when we found out that Miles got sent to the wrong universe. And it's just like, when I first watched it on the TikTok, I didn't pay attention to where Miles was being sent to. And of course, we always saw the radioactive spider saying 42, meaning that either the spider was spider number 42, the radioactive spider, whether that number was from 42 or it was from Earth 42. And it should have clicked right then and there whenever you're watching the movie in the beginning, where it tells you that Miles is in a whole different universe with like 4 digits in there. I don't remember what universe it was, but it was 4 digits. It wasn't 42. And so whenever I'm watching that, the first, and it was so funny because the second time I watched it, and then it says, oh, Miles is in Earth so and so, it didn't click to me until after, like, once I started hearing Miguel saying, that spider came from the wrong universe, like, it came to your universe, which that wasn't meant to happen. Then it was like, okay, so you're telling me that then the spider came from Earth 42. And then when, Miles is trying to go to his universe, so he thought, when he's trying to go to his universe to save his dad, then I realized on the little machine that's beeping of where he's being sent to Earth 42, that's when I'm like, that's why. Okay, but what? Like, and I was trying to figure out too. I was like, why is the machine saying to send him to Earth 42 when they just said it came from the wrong universe? And then it started making sense even more, and it explains to you once he got bit by that spider, his DNA of Earth 42 is in there now. I'm gonna be so mad if it's not 42 and it was 46, but I'm pretty damn sure it was 42. Anywho, so yeah, like, there was just some things that I didn't catch up to still once I watched this movie, knowing that he was gonna get sent to the wrong universe. But it's still good. That's what makes it so entertaining. But yeah, once they went up there, it's just like, this cannot get any better. And then next thing you know, the fucking movie is over. And like, ugh. And I was surprised, not, like, in my movie theater when I went to go watch it, no one was like, no, oh my god, like, nobody was crying or anything. People were clapping because it was that great. And I was like, it's been a while since I've heard people clap in a movie. Like, I think it was like way before the pandemic, I think. No, I lied. Spider-Man No Way Home. Like I said, this freaking fan base is just huge at this point. Everybody's all over Spider-Man. But anywho, that was the cliffhanger. I need to talk about Miguel. And it's like, I again, it's like I understand that he's a good guy, but he's a bad guy in a way. Like there's just some things that he is. But why do you gotta make the guy have a nice back and an ass? Like, come on, man. Like, damn. Like, even men go after that. And he's animated. Like I said, homeboy is fit. But anywho, I want to talk about Spanish. Oh my god. And that's the thing. I love Oscar Isaac. Whenever I hear Oscar Isaac or even Pedro Pascal just speaking in Spanish, it's just like chef's kiss. And I haven't said chef's kiss in a while. Because damn. So, like, the part for me, it's like that one scene where him and Miles are exchanging phrases, you know, because again, Miles is like half Puerto Rican because of his mom. And it was funny because, like, he's hangry. And Miles is like, te traje una empanada. And then freaking Miguel just picks up the empanada and he says it in the deep, sexy voice. Que maravilla. And I'm like, boy, you better stop. Like, no, we don't need that right now. But it's just Oscar Isaac himself. I love it. And especially whenever he's they're in the moment of chasing Miles. A lot of people didn't catch this, but whenever, you know, he's telling all the Spider-Mans, like, oh, I need you to catch Spider-Mans, and everybody's having that moment like, oh, you, like, you know, the Easter egg. Then Miguel says, ay, coño, like Miles Morales, he's on sector 4, whatever. It's the ay, coño for me. And I was just like, I keep hearing it. Like, I'll see it now, like, more on TikTok videos because a lot of people finally catched on to it. But we were not expecting for him to say ay, coño. Like, who freaking says that? Well, apparently him. So there's that. I love that. I love basically that whole section itself where, you know, he's being chased by these people. But before I get into that, I want to talk about, again, still talking about Miguel O'Hara. It's kind of sad when you think about him. You hear his canon event and, like, you know, he just wanted to go back, be a dad, whatever. And then we have Peter B. Parker rubbing into Miguel's face that he's a dad. And I'm just like, that's kind of toxic if you ask me. Especially that part where, you know, he's like, oh, hey, can you want to take a picture of my baby? This, and that. And I'm just like, no. You kind of start feeling like off after that. It's like, wait, boy, we're supposed to like you, but don't do my boy Miguel like that. Like, no. It's like kind of sad, but still, it was cute that, you know, he had baby May. It was funny. And then another thing is, like, back to what I was saying, like, he's good, but he's bad. Like, he means well when it comes to the universe, but having Miles face the fact that he has to let his dad die is something that, like, everybody is against. Like, it's just sad, but it's like whenever you find out the truth, you will do anything possible to make sure that, like, if it consists of, you know, your loved one dying, you will do anything what it takes for that not to happen. But you also have to keep in mind, and Miles said this over and over again, that he's not a kid and he's a teenager. Teenagers don't like to be called kids because they're already like wanting to grow up, this and that. Every teenager has been through it. I've been through it where, you know, we just want to grow up as fast as we can. But the sad truth is that once we get there, it's like, oh, we wish we want to be teenagers. It's so fucking truth. And I swear to God, if the day does come where either I have to, like, if I have to have a kid, or if I had to adopt a kid, or I'm taking care of a kid, whoever, I don't know. The day comes where I have to deal with a teenager, I'm going to tell them straight up, like, I get that you want to freaking grow up. Same thing. Be careful what you wish for. Because, yeah, it's all nice once you get a paycheck. But believe me when I tell you this, you're going to regret getting a paycheck. Only because debt, bills. When you're living in corporate America, that's going to be your motto. Job, job, job. And all you're going to want to do is just be in bed. That's not going to happen. So, anywho. Same thing with Miles. Like, Miles, because he has that responsibility of being Spider-Man, he just wants to grow up already. He doesn't want to be, you know, telling, like, he doesn't want to be, I guess, grounded and have curfews and all of that. He wants to be out and about, you know. Same thing when somebody gets their own first car, you know, they just all want to be out and about, and it's just, it's not the way, man. It's not the way. But anywho, I feel like that was, you know, my little tantrum about the whole thing with Miguel and Miles. But another thing I want to point out that Miguel also does, and it's kind of cute, but some of us will find it very, very jealous. He may be serious at everybody else, but I think he has a soft spot for Lila, because there's so many funny moments between them, especially like whenever he's asking for backup, and Lila's like, "Oh, come on, say it again, say it again." It's like, call for backup, and it's like, I already did. And then she takes a selfie with him, and he has the filter of the bunny ears. It's like, wow, there's that, and then just like, you know, like other things. And I don't know, like, some people are probably like, man, I wish I was Lila. I want to be joking around with Miguel like that, you know? I don't know. I'm just saying. But anywho, that is probably all I probably have of Miguel O'Hara. And I know there's probably other stuff that I want to talk about, but I'm already 40 minutes into this podcast, so I'm like, we gotta move on. The show gotta move on. Anywho, and that's the thing, because I want to talk about the cameos in this freaking movie. There's so many cameos, and I feel like, I don't know, like, there were so many. Let's talk about one of them. The person that freaking inspired the creation of Miles Morales. Danny freaking Glover, or Childish Gambino, however you guys want to call him. He literally was the guy playing, he was Prowler in, basically, Spider-Man, Tom Holland, you know, Homecoming, Earth. I don't even know what number that is. Apparently it's not Earth 6 something, you know, whatever that we all thought it was. Apparently it's a whole different universe. And yeah, him, like, we've seen it in the end credits of Spider-Man Homecoming, where, you know, he's talking with Spider-Man, like Danny Glover, or, you know, Uncle Aaron, whatever. He mentions that he has a nephew, and everybody was just like, Miles, 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 you know, we're thinking that. So we're glad to finally get to see Danny Glover, you know, that Aaron coming to this, like, this universe, and, you know, them catching them into the Spider Society, and he's being over there locked up. It was pretty cool because they didn't even animate him. They put in so many other characters that were live action, and they put it in there in an animated movie. So it's like crazy when you see that. So like, imagine if we get to see this Miles or Gwen Stacy, whoever, if we get to see them into our universe where everything's live action, but they come in here all animated, like, you know, how would that work? But I don't know. Again, let me find out. This is gonna be in the third movie, because that will be freaking awesome. So let me go ahead and keep going with the cameos. Well, not cameos, but just the many Spider-Mans that we have seen. Out of all the Spider-Mans that, again, we've seen, they chase and all of that, my particular favorite one, and I got to see this one before, you know, I got the movie spoiled on TikTok. It was basically Plush Spider-Man, or Spider-Man, Spider Plush. I guess that's what they're calling him, Spider Plush. And, like, the thing is that when I see him, he's so cute and tiny, you can easily miss that. And like, you will, like, some people, what they do is they will record the scene, but they will have to, like, play it in slow motion just so you can see Spider Plush. He's so cute. And apparently there was other characters, like, well, I mean, obviously the big one that you cannot miss was Spider-Rex. Spider-Rex was insane. Only for me, it was more like, oh my god, it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex dressed as Spider-Man. Oh my god, and he shoots out web fluid. You know, like, I was freaking out like crazy, because it's freaking cool. And apparently but like, out of all of this too, some people supposedly spotted the actual Spooderman. And that's the thing. Whenever I did my Spooderman No Way Home episode, I kept calling him Spooderman instead of Spider-Man. But today I'm just like, no, I can't say Spooderman my whole episode, because there's an actual Spooderman apparently in the movie. I've seen the videos. I don't know if they're edited or they're real, because again, I need to go back and watch this movie just to see if I can spot them. But because everything is happening so fast, you can see so many Spider-Mans like maybe once or twice or maybe 5 times, but you only like miss them in a snap of a finger. So it's like I don't know if Spider-Man's in there. I'm gonna have to wait until I get it in like digital or something where I can like slow watch this, and I'm like, where is he? Where is he? Because that's how it was when I saw Spider Plush. I see him and I'm like, where are the rest of the scenes? It's like there's so many Spider-Mans in here. I don't know which one's which, like, or like I don't know which one's like the ones I'm looking for, you know. But other than that, I feel like throughout this movie I was basically the Rick Dalton slash Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie. Like throughout all of those Easter eggs, movie references, whatever it is. Like, you know, when we saw Danny Glover, I'm over there whistling, snapping my finger. Like, oh my god, it's a guy from Homecoming. And then I think the other one was, oh, Mrs. Chang. Mrs. Chang from Venom was there. And I was like, and I'm like, am I gonna see Venom in here? Like, you know, because I love Venom. And no, we didn't get to see that, but we saw that interaction. So I was like, oh my god, Mrs. Chang from Venom. And then we also got to see PlayStation 5 Spider-Man. So I was just like, again, that meme. Another one was when they were talking about the universe, and then Miguel was telling Lila, oh, do the thing. And she's like, what thing? And he's like, well, the thing, and show them everything, you know, whatever. And then you see basically the multiverse timelines where it just splits. That's basically what we saw like in Loki and in Quantumania, you know, with Kang and all of that, or He Who Remains. So I'm like, oh, I remember this one. And then we got to see like a recap of Andrew Garfield whenever he loses Captain Stacy, or, you know, Gwen Stacy's dad, and he's having an emotional moment. And then on the corner of my eye, I also see Uncle Ben dying from the Tobey Maguire movie, or, you know, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And then like the part where everybody's gaining up on Spider-Man, and what do you call it, one particular Spider-Man talks to Miles, and that was Spectacular Spider-Man that was in there. So I'm like, oh my god. And then of course, you know, the other reference was whenever all the Spider-Mans are like, you know, pointing at each other. Same thing like how they did it in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. On the end credits, they re-enhanced that scene with the pointing, except this time it was Spider-Man 2099 and the other Spider-Man just pointing fingers at each other. So there's that. But one of the things I wish I got to see, we only saw a glimpse of it, was Miguel O'Hara's true self, which was him being a vampire. So, for those that do not know, Miguel O'Hara has vampire blood in him, where he can actually eat his enemies with his fangs and whatnot. So, I don't know, but like, I'm hoping to see the most, like, his true nature over there in the third movie, and I'm praying and hoping it's gonna be way too damn good. It's gonna be so much good. But anywho, another character I wanted to touch base was Spider-Punk. Literally protect Hobby at all costs. Homeboy was literally like, he did not like the Spider Society whatsoever. And I mean, again, it's very understanding, but he literally sides with Miles after speaking for him for a short period of time. He's the homeboy that we all need. Also, like when he tells Baby May, like, taking a crap at the establishment, I salute you, is wholesome for me, because it's like he really doesn't like them. And the fact that Baby May got to crap on, you know, while being in the society, he's like, I respect you more. But that's the thing, everybody's always talking about Hobby, or Hobby, however you want to call him, where he's over there helping Miles, like telling him, like, remember, not the fingers, use the palms to break free from the thingy. And like when Miguel like traps Miles into the thingy so he doesn't go back to his universe, everybody's like telling Miguel, like, why are you doing this? You don't have to do this, and that. Hobby's over there telling Miles, like, just showing him his palms, just telling him, use your palms to get out. He's over there helping him. And then when Gwen goes back to her universe, Hobby, obviously, you see him in the background in the Spider Society when before all this shit happened. He's over there stealing stuff to create the watch that can take you to, you can travel into the universe, whatever they called it. So he's over there trying to get Gwen to help Miles because he knows she will be the one that can help get the team that she needs to get Miles out of that universe and trying to find him and also take down, I guess, the Spider Society. Who knows? But still, I love that. Like, fucking, I love Hobby. I love Spider Punk. Like, I think he is my second favorite character only because Miguel O'Hara is still superior on that, especially everything else. But anywho, I also wanted to talk about Spot. And I feel like Spot is not often talked about, but we need to talk about Spot. His progression as a villain is amazing. He literally went from, please let me rob you, to, I'll destroy everything you love. And I was like, oh my God. And I don't know, I don't know. I mean, like, I started collecting the comics, Absolute Carnage. And the way how Absolute Carnage looks like slightly, it's that little thingy majobber that goes on his forehead. Kind of reminded me of whenever we saw Spot at his superior. And I was like, this is something different. I'm like, is this like absolute Spot or something? I don't know what it is. But it is crazy how he even became a villain. All because of a bagel. All because of a freaking bagel. And it's like, I think there's a story behind it. It's just everything has, what do you call it? It's a saying, and I had it in the tip of my tongue, but everything comes through your actions or something like that. I don't know. But you get the gist of it. You know what I'm trying to say. So, actions have consequences. There we go. Did I get it? But yeah. So it's like, I don't know, just don't throw bagels at people just in case. You never know what they might turn into. Yeah, same thing with road raging. You just never know with road ragers. But I feel like Spot himself, we're over here again. We went through the cliffhanger because not only we see Miles be with himself as the Prowler, that's one thing, but then we also have the Spot going through to Miles's actual universe, about to destroy everything. So it's like, whoa. It's like there's two different things and you're trying to figure out what, like, okay, this is good, this is also good. So it's like, how are they gonna, interact with each other? Hopefully it happens soon and it happens great. Who knows? But now that I am in that topic, I really do want to talk about that. I know that it is mentioned about the radioactive spider. Like, what if the radioactive spider from Earth 42 didn't bite Miles? And there is a big ass theory going on that one itself. If Miles didn't get bit, his universe would have been exactly just like Earth 42. And again, the theory is that if you go watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you will see Miles having an interaction with Spider-Man, and I want to say this is Peter B. Parker, the one that has the baby. And they're looking at each other. And when you see Miles's color, it was purple and green, which apparently are the colors of the Prowler. And this was right after he lost his Uncle Aaron. And then you see Spider-Man's colors, obviously it's red and blue. So when they're looking at each other and they link, you see how Miles's colors disappears from being green and purple and changing it to red and blue. So it's like, if it didn't happen, if none of that would have happened, then yeah, maybe Miles would have ended up just the same as this Prowler here. But the thing is that in this case, Dad would have still been alive because Uncle Aaron was the one that died. And then in Earth 42, Miles's dad was the one that died, and Uncle Aaron was the one that took over and, took care of everything. But obviously the whole city is just destroyed at that point. So it's crazy to see, like, all of these little things that you would see in the first movie, bringing it over here into this movie. And who knows, again, we thought we decoded some of the things on this movie, but you just never know, because man, what if there's stuff that we didn't decode, and the next thing you know, on Beyond the Spider-Verse, it's a whole different thing too. And I'm just like, what the heck? And that's the thing I love about these Marvel movies, is like, it's just the little things you have to pay attention, the little references that you probably have watched. Like me, I've been watching all of these Marvel movies since I was like, even before the MCU was established. Like, I watched, X-Men animated. I remember all of that, kind of. But like, it's just those little things that you start remembering, and you know exactly where it's referenced from. And it's like, wow, okay. But whenever we go into freaking Marvel trivia, we get pressured and we forget all of these little things, all of these answers of where things come from, this, and that. That's a whole different story. But yeah, like, I just love this movie. Honestly, it was very, very entertaining, and I cannot wait to see how it ends. I'd be damned if they freaking make a fourth movie just to extend it and just to piss us off. But, I am really, really happy of how that went. And I again, whenever that movie does come out, I'm hoping that they do like a dual, like they have like a bundle where they have both Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and then Across the Spider-Verse. I'm probably just gonna have to wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse and get the trilogy, kind of like with John Wick right now. John Wick is over. You can buy the whole trilogy or the whole set of the movies at this point, because I don't think they're gonna make another movie, but they say it is confirmed, so I don't even know at this point. But that basically wraps up this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I could be talking about Spider-Man for a while, and I know I did that with the No Way Home movie review. If you guys have not listened to it, even though the movie's already out, definitely go listen to it for sure. It's out there. And again, if you guys have not followed my social media, please do so at It's Lielers on Instagram and on Twitter, and at Lielers on TikTok if you guys want to follow. And if, of course, I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but visit my link tree. I have a link tree. It's been out there for a while. So if you guys ever do want to, like, let's say if you're listening to my podcasts on YouTube and you're probably like, well, I have Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, how do I get there? Just go to my link tree. The link will send you over there, or you can always look up, you could just look up Lielers of wherever you listen to your podcast, and then you'll find me there. And again, shout out to everybody that is still continuing listening to this podcast. I still cannot believe that the demographic of both here in the United States and in Germany is still growing. Like, I'm just like, I'm like, Germany people, can y'all like book a flight for me? Because I would love to go to Germany soon for Oktoberfest. But anywho, thank you guys so much for listening. And of course, I guess that wraps up for the third movie review. I am not sure if I'm gonna watch Transformers Rise of the Beast. I watched the Transformers movies. I'm not too big fond of it, but we'll see. If not, keep an eye on the movie review. No promises on that one. But for sure, we will have a new episode, and hopefully soon. I'm not going to take another, year break or something. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.